I know. Okay, I know you tapped on this video because you are curious why these no recoil builds in Delta Force Mobile is actually a scam. So let's not get any into unnecessary details and let's go to the explanation. First of all, I want you to look at this K437. Let's look at its data. Currently, it has a control of 81, a handling of 40, and a stability of 61. Also an accuracy of 37. And now, the details or the value or numbers that you're seeing right now, I want you to focus on them for a second because it's going to play an important role in actually building or even using your gun. Okay, but first of all, I want you to focus on four things. First is the control, second is the handling, and third is the stability. Also, let's include the accuracy, but we're going to be talking about two different kinds, okay? We'll be taking off accuracy because we're going to talk about the ADS first, and then we will include that accuracy when we talk about hip fire later. Now, as you can see, there is a 81 control. My control is like kind of higher than any of the previous data around there. So if we actually look into that, we would think like, maybe this is a no recoil build because it has a control or high number of control. And I want to show you first that this control or how this control will perform. Looks good, right? It kind of looks good, and somehow it has a little recoil, but you could literally conclude that it has little to no recoil at all. Now, if there is a saying or there is a quote that if there is something too good to be true, there is something wrong. Now let's go back to your data first. Let's focus on the ADS first so I can explain it and before we go to the hip fire. Currently, I want you to focus again in these three datas: control, handling, and stability. As you notice, control has the highest number, and stability has the second, and handling has 40. When we talk about no recoil, you would only expect the gun to have a low recoil, right? But what's hidden behind those things are sometimes affected by other factors like handling or stability. Example, if you have high recoil or high control number, sometimes it affects other aspects. Let's say example, low handling, and you would expect your gun to actually ADS so slow, right? Like this one, it takes so slow. It's really slow to. It takes a little time to ADS before it starts shooting because I turned off my auto ADS for a better conclusion this time. But there is some aspects that actually affects this. One example, if the control is higher, the stability or the handling would be affect. Okay, it would affect the two of those aspects. Plus, there are some times that maybe some things that you would actually feel. Let's say, sometimes the gun is just really hard to control. It feels so sticky, or sometimes it's not really smooth to turn. Well, of course, turning is a very important aspect, and that is where stability affects. Let's go back to data first. Now, that is where stability starts affecting you. As you can see right there is a 61 stability. Very good number, decent number. But there are hidden affections. When you go back to its build, let's go into modify section, you can see that there is a vertical control firing stability. Same in the foregrip, another vertical control, and also here in the stock, control and stability. Now this gun only focuses on the recoil, vertical stability, but it does not focus on horizontal stability. So what does horizontal stability mean? Well, in short, it means that your gun is going to go left and right, or how your gun sways depending on how it shoots. Let's say example. Here's a clear proof that sometimes you don't actually need too much high recoil. Look at this. You can see right here that the stability is so curved that you can see it so badly. So why does it affect your gameplay? So when you shoot something, especially when you're moving something like that, of course you need your gun to be positioned in the center, right? Because if it keeps swaying around, you're gonna have a trouble to actually aim, even if you're moving too fast or you have high ADS movement or something. It's still gonna affect your gameplay. Also, another aspect that it will affect you is going to be the movement. Sometimes some of the other let's say other attachments in the guns have actually negative effects. Let's go with the foregrip. No, let's go here at the stock. Sometimes some of the stocks, let's say you wanted to go full on handling, sometimes it has this called ADS movement speed. Sometimes there are other attachments that have negative ADS movement speed. So sometimes you just want to base your control, high control, something like that. If you want to adjust that, you need to read some of the descriptions so you can actually adjust them, okay? And of course, let's not forget about the recalibration, okay? Now, the calibration is very unnecessary, and even if you calibrate your gun something, there's always going to be a confliction. Let's say plus 5% extra control, but it will also affect your aiming stability while breathing. Yes, while you are breathing. So, let's go back here. What do you mean by breathing, right? A lot of you are somehow confused, but when you ADS, you might see this lung logo right here. A logo that is shaped of a lung. This is more of a calibration effect on your gun. When you shoot without it, it's shaky, so shaky. But when you shoot with this calibrator, it looked like this. It looked like this. It's more stable and somehow it's more easy to aim, right? So let's go back to it. So in conclusion, you don't really need that much recoil. What I do recommend is that you try to try to balance your data, or try to balance your values on your gun. Let's say one example is that try to make a gun that is 60, 60, 60. I don't know if you can do a triple 60. If you are a expert in making one of those, try the 60, 60, 60, something like that. And then I want you to try it on the match, okay? I want you to try to experiment it. And before you comment on this video, I want you to make sure that you have tried it, okay? You have tried to build a control focused gun or recoil focused gun and a balanced gun. And I want you to comment here on this video and tell me what could be the difference about it, and so that what I'm talking right now is actually true and also based on my experience, because I have played warfare many times. I've also tried no recoil builds like countless times, so I know what the difference and I know why it affects your gameplay that bad. Also, try to understand your gun. If your gun shoots a little bit slower, you're going to expect that it's going to have a high recoil gap, meaning every time it shoots, the recoil caps a little higher compared to high recoil. Compared to high fire rate guns like the AS Val. So I want you to give your opinion in here in this video, and I want you to try your own build. Maybe I do recommend you to try it with your own build personally. I'm not saying that all the content creators are scam. Some of the builds are legit, but just like I said, something too good to be true is there's something wrong about it also. Okay, so before using any of those no recoil guns, try to make sure and analyze, or maybe try to take a look about the gun before using it in any games.